Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juana and I am the crafty Puerto Rican. So today I'm going to be working with Hotfix Rhinestones and I can't wait to share with you this new design that I've been working on. So guys, let's get started. Hey you guys, so we are here on Silhouette Studio and I am working with the business edition. I upgraded to business edition. In order for you to make these designs with rhinestones, you need to have the business edition. This will allow you to transfer your design to create a design space and cut it in Cricut. This will allow you to convert it into SVG, an SVG file. Let me take you to my files. I'm going to look for the SVG file that I'm going to be working with. Here. So this is a design that is a SVG file. I converted this one into rhinestones, and on top of that, I added some words to it in the spacing that it allows you to write something in it right here. Okay, I'm gonna show you the one that I already completed this way. I'm gonna go to my library right here on the top to look for the design that I did already. This one right here, this one is completed. If you notice, I converted into rhinestones this part and I added this phrase blessed, all right? And then I made it like an overlapping design. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. Let me close this in. Okay, but in order for me to do this, let me just group this. All right. Before I do this, I'm going to go ahead and I make it the size that I want the design to, all right? I'm going to ungroup it first. I should have left it ungrouped. And then I'm gonna close it and then select it all over again. And this is the real width, 9.7 by 9.1. I want it to be a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna enlarge it a little bit. I'm gonna just take it to 10 inches. I mean, it's a flower design and I don't want it to be so huge. Let's take it to 10.5. All right, that's perfect. So that's center right there. Okay, so now once I have it this way, we have gone through this before. If you want to know exactly step by step, you can check my other videos that I've done in the past. I'm gonna go kind of like fast on this because this part we already worked on it, is how to convert it into rhinestones. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into the rhinestones panel, and the rhinestone panel you can either access it through the top left where it says panel. You can click down here rhinestones, or you can click on the right panel on the lower part. You're going to see a little arrow and you can pick these rhinestones right here. Let's do it. Either way, it works the same. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we are going to, I'm going to group these two together. I'm going to click it here. I'm going to select this and I'm going to group it. Group. All right. And the reason that I'm going to do that, because these two, I'm going to place rhinestones separate because I'm going to change colors on it. All right. And it's going to be difficult to, once you do everything in rhinestone, to tell which part is which part. So I'm going to move this out of place. I'm working on this later. Now I can work on these two parts. So now I'm going to select this. Okay. I'm going to group them. And now I'm going to choose which of the three options that they offer I'm going to use. This is the none option. In other words, nothing is done. It's like where it's right now, it's none. This one right here is the edge, which will give me that, which is beautiful itself, but I don't want that. I want something more filled in. So the next one is the lineal, which looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make it bigger. So you can see that's the lineal. This looks pretty nice. It's pretty complete right now. And then, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put some color to it right now because It's very hard to tell. So let me go and for the color panel and make it yellow. Yeah. Yeah. It makes it easier to tell what I'm doing. Okay, so this is the lineal. I'm liking the lineal. Right now, it completes most of it, but I'm gonna go ahead and try the radial. Radial is good to use when you have things that are like this one, you see? It's gonna contour around and it makes it look prettier, in other words. So, okay, what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna plug in the size of the stone, which I'm gonna use a 10SS, all right? And then I'm going to work with the spacing. Right now it's at 0.039. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna switch it to 0.019. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead, let's enter. And it's perfect right now. It's even better. It's more filled in. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make it bigger. You can tell how it looks. You see, this is not bad at all. And I think this is the one I'm gonna choose. The only thing I might be able to do is add a couple of stones in here. Let me see how it looks if I switch it to 0.15. There's not much difference. So I rather leave it at 0.19 because that will give me more spacing and I will not take the risk of tearing the flock because the circles are too close together. So I'm gonna leave it at 19 because there's not much of a difference. Yeah. So once I'm here, what I'm gonna be doing, and I think you've seen me doing this before. For those who are new, I've never seen it. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm going to loose the stones by releasing them, and that will allow me to move them around and to add a couple of stones. All I had to do, people, is add a couple of stones in here. It's not much of a change. You notice how this one is like more completed here, if you notice. So I'm gonna try to do the same thing, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and on the lower panel, I'm gonna go ahead and release the stones. Right now, the amount of stones that this design, just the petals, are gonna be taking are 1,717 stones, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna release the stones. There we go. So now I'm going to be starting on the top right here, and I'm gonna make it bigger so you guys can see what I'm doing, okay? So let me start on these panels, right? I'm gonna close this right now because I don't need it for now. I'm gonna go ahead and add one in here. So I'm gonna see if I can straighten this a little bit. This is all I might need to do, just to straighten the stones. Okay. Okay. I might be able to fit one in here. I don't know. You can use your right and left key on your keyboard. I'm gonna go ahead and right click here. I'm gonna click duplicate and I'm gonna add one in here. Right there. You see my, okay. Make it up a little bit. And I'm gonna see if I can fit another one in here. I'm not sure. That's up to you on how you like it. This is very personal. It's your taste. You might want to leave it like that, and you might want to add more. It's up to you. Once you are on this place, this is your design and your creativity. So each person can do it whatever way you want to do it. Okay, it doesn't have to be one certain way because after all, this is your design. So this one look better this way. So I'm gonna leave it like that, okay? And I'm gonna do the same thing here. Here, I'm gonna move this up. And I'm gonna click it, right click, duplicate, and I'm gonna add one in here. Okay, and I'm gonna be doing this on all the petals, all right? Okay, do you have the idea of what I'm doing? I'm gonna be doing this to all the flower, and then I'm gonna bring you in once I'm done to go to the next step, okay? And that way, the video is not gonna run too long, all right, guys? So see you in a little bit once I'm done. Okay, guys, so this is completed, all right? And like I said before, this is personal preference, all right? I didn't change anything around. I just added some circles, okay, in the middle part because of the empty spaces. But the way it came out originally, it was good. So if you decide you want to keep it that way, you can keep it that way, all right? So once I'm done with this, select the whole thing, okay? Make sure that you select the whole thing. I'm gonna go to my top panel where it says object. I'm gonna click that and I'm gonna click group. Okay, I'm gonna go back to select it again, all right? And I'm gonna go back to object and I'm gonna click make compound path. If you notice, I'm gonna make this bigger. If you notice, it gave me a different color. I'm gonna go back to the color panel on my right side, right here, and I'm gonna switch back to the color. This time I'm gonna get a little bit darker yellow. I'm gonna go to the right panel and I'm gonna click the fourth icon on the right panel. I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna click that, and then I'm going to choose the second icon here, the one that is multicolor. I'm gonna click that, and then I'm gonna go down here to the box that is white color, and I'm gonna click that, and that change it to yellow. What happened here is when you leave it without doing that, it's gonna give you an extra outline on each circle that is a dark red, and that's why it changes the color. You need to do this step in order for that not to happen before you take it to be cut in Cricut Design Space. So this one is already done, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna move this around, I'm gonna move it back, I'm gonna working on this part, okay? All right, and I'm gonna follow the same thing that I did for the petals of the flower. I'm going to select this. I'm gonna go to my rhinestone panel. I'm going to select, I think I'm gonna do linear also. I'm gonna go straight to radial, the radial. Okay, perfect, because if I go to linear, it's gonna just give me the line, which I don't want that. I'm going to linear, I'm sorry, if I go to edge, I always confuse these two, I don't know why. If I go to edge, it's gonna just give me the edge. If I go to linear, it's gonna give me, actually it's not that bad. Let me see, let me make it bigger. Let me go to radial. Yeah, I prefer the radial because you know it gave me the contouring on the top, and all I need to do is just to add a couple of circles in here and we're done. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna select 10 SS, okay, which is the size of the stone I'm gonna be working with. I'm gonna go to my spacing and I'm gonna take it down to 0.19. And I made it a little bit closer, which is okay, all right? And then this is gonna be only 56 stones according to this, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead to release stones. Okay, this time I did it fast. And all I'm gonna do once I do release stone is that I'm gonna add 2 stones. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna right click. You can select any stones you want. Right click, duplicate, and it gave me this right here. I'm gonna make it here. And I'm gonna be just moving it around to make space, all right? That's all I'm doing. Let me make it bigger so you can see better. So I'm just gonna move it around to make some space, all right? Make sure you just separate and make sure that none of the stones are going to overlap. That is very, very important. If the stones are overlapping, when you take it to the Cricut or your cutting machine to cut, it's not gonna cut correctly. It's gonna be a big hole because it's overlapping. You need to separate the stones. That's why we have the spacing here. And you try to make it the same spacing. So this one is already done. I'm gonna lower this a little bit because it cannot touch in that one. And I don't want it to touch, and I'm gonna make it a little bit higher here. Okay. So now that we have had that, we're gonna go ahead and do the lower part. Same thing. Let me just move it before I do the right clicking here. So I actually added only one. Right click, duplicate. And this is it. Moving things around a little bit. You don't want to change the whole contour. You want to leave it as it is, but with a little bit of space, okay? To make sure that these stones are not touching or the circles are not touching. Okay. And I'm using my arrow key on my keyboard to move them around. And that looks good to me. Let me make it smaller. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna select the whole thing and I'm gonna follow the same thing. I'm gonna go to my object key on the left top and I'm gonna click group. I'm gonna group it. Once it's grouped, I'm gonna go back to object and I'm gonna make compound path. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna change the color again. I'm gonna go to my color panel. I'm gonna select a little bit of a darker color on this one. This looks good to me. And then I'm gonna go to the right panel, side panel. I'm gonna pick the fourth icon. And here I'm gonna click the multicolor icon, which is the second one. And then I'm gonna go ahead and click the white box and it took away all the circles that were another color of the outline. I'm gonna go ahead and put it here. See? This is the way it's gonna look. Once I do this, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make it smaller so I can work better. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna select the word that I want to put in there. I think I'm gonna work with the word spring. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna group this because I don't want it to move from positioning. Actually, let me make sure before I do this, that it's in the right place that I want it. Let's move this a little bit. Centering here. I want it to look like as centered as possible. Okay. See, I want to make sure that none of these stones are close to these ones and everything here looks good. This looks good to me. So I'm gonna make it smaller. Select the whole thing. And I'm going to right click and I'm gonna click group. So right now it's group and everything is together. It makes it easy for me to work, all right? So now I decided that I'm gonna choose the word spring. I'm gonna go to my left panel in the middle. You're gonna see an A, that is the text key. So I'm gonna click that. I'm gonna click inside the design right here. And I'm gonna write spring, right? Now I'm gonna go to the right side of the panel and I'm gonna choose my font. So I'm gonna click the A on the right side. And this is the list of font. I have one that I like to use a lot. I'm gonna see if I can find it real fast. This one is right here. Dear Agatha, right here. Perfect. Okay, so that's the one that I want. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make it bigger. Okay. So I make it so that it will overlap on the top of the S and it's gonna overlap in the middle of the P and on the G. Let me go ahead and center it a little bit. Right there. What do you think, guys? Make it longer? That looks good to me. What do you think? It looks pretty good. Let me make it smaller. I'm gonna select the whole thing, and I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can, yeah, align center, perfect. All right, so let me make it bigger again. I want to, before I did that, I should have do ungroup, because I noticed this eye is a little bit, the whole thing in here is a little bit too separated. Oh, go back. No, I want to select. I just want to select the I and the G to make it a little bit closer. Yeah, I like it this way. Perfect. Because remember, I'm going to convert this also into rhinestones. So, I want to make sure that everything is correct. Now I'm going to see, I'm going to go and select the whole word, and I'm going to group it again. Group. All right. So now I'm going to be working on the stones in here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select this. I'm going to take it out of the way. All right. And I'm going to make it bigger again. And we're going to convert this into rhinestones. Hopefully it will work. Sometimes depends on the design of the font will allow me to do the way I want it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to open the rhinestone key. I'm going to go ahead, go to panels, click rhinestones. I'm going to go ahead and make it smaller, because right now I cannot even see because the panel is on the way. Okay. I'm going to select edge, which is what I want. Oops, I need to select the word before I do that. I'm going to pick edge, which is okay. I just need to make some changes. Okay. I know radial, radial is not going to be, radial looks the same. Radial and edge looks exactly the same, no difference. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. If you notice, they are overlapping in here and there is overlapping in here. So all I had to do is go ahead and ungroup the whole thing. And I'm going to select the N, and I'm going to make it to the right. I'm going to select the G, and I'm going to make it to the right, all the way to the right. Okay. I'm going to select the S, and I'm going to make it to the left. I think we are good right now. There's enough separation between the letters. You don't want any circles to be overlapping. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and select the whole thing again. I'm going to group it. If you notice, the only change that I had to do here is put this closer and this closer, this circle. I might have to separate some circles in here, some circles in here, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to select the stone, which is 10SS. Okay, and now I'm gonna work with the spacing to see if it makes any difference. I'm gonna put it in 0.019. I didn't arrange much of a difference. I'm gonna go ahead and release the stones and start making changes. But right now, this is giving me a width of 8.29, 8.2, which is perfect. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and release the stones. And now that I released the stone, I don't need this panel anymore, just to give it some space. And all I'm going to do, I'm gonna make this bigger, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this closer, right here. And I don't think I even need this right here. This is perfect the way it is. I'm gonna delete that. That was an extra one, I don't need it. All the stones look with a good spacing. I don't need to move much around. Again, this is a personal preference. You're gonna do it the way you wanna do it, okay? Because this is like your art, okay? It's your art. and artists do it the way they like it, okay? Whatever might be okay with me, it might be not good with you, and you might want to decide to change it. Okay, so this looks pretty good, people. I don't need any changes. I'm gonna separate this a little bit because it was too close. Right now, all I'm doing is moving. I'm not adding absolutely anything. I'm just checking that none of the stones are touching. That's all I'm doing. And right now, everything looks good. Everything looks good. This is gonna be in here. This is gonna be in here. And I'm liking it, people. Really liking it. Let me make it smaller so that I can show you how it looks. This looks good. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select the whole thing. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna group. I'm gonna go top to object, and I'm going to click group. So I'm gonna follow the same thing that I did before, all right? And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go again to object. I'm gonna go make compound path. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the color, and let me see which color I pick. Let's make it green, it's pretty. I'm gonna pick green, and the same thing I did before. I'm gonna go to the fourth icon, click that, go here to the second icon, and click the white box, and this is perfect. And then all I had to do is put this in here. Place it here. And I'm gonna make it bigger so that I can be sure that it's in place. That looks good to me. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and gonna go like that, and I'm gonna go ahead and group it. I'm gonna select it again, right click, and I'm gonna group. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, since I'm done with this, I'm gonna bring the word in here, spring. I'm gonna make it bigger so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to place it like in the middle, right here. Okay, I'm gonna make it smaller. I'm gonna select the whole thing. And I'm going to move it to the right. Work in the white background. I can see things better. I'm gonna select the whole thing. And I'm going to center in place and center it, okay? Before we go to the next step, what we're gonna do is we are going to go ahead and we are going to ungroup the whole thing, okay? So you're gonna select, I'm gonna right click and I'm going to ungroup, okay? Then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to the edit in the top panel, is all the way to the left on the top. I'm gonna drop that and I'm gonna select by color. It's gonna give me this drop down right here, and I'm gonna use the one that says, it comes in by line, but I'm gonna select the one that says by fill. When I'm in by fill, I'm gonna choose the color that I want to release the stone, which in this case is the yellow. That's the one that I'm gonna select to release a stone. I'm gonna go ahead after that, I'm gonna go to object, and I'm gonna click the one that says release compound path, and I'm gonna release compound path, okay? There. So now that I released compound path, I'm gonna switch it to the left a little bit. I'm gonna make it bigger because this part is important, all right? So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm going to be picking up the circles that are overlapping with the green. So I'm gonna be picking the circle, I'm gonna click it like we did in the beginning when we were doing the design. I'm gonna move it around because I don't want it. I don't want nothing that is close to this. I'm gonna be picking this. Oops, let's go back because I didn't mean to move that. I'm gonna be picking this right here. I'm gonna be picking this right here. All the ones that are around it that I don't want, I'm gonna remove, okay? You can make it even bigger so that you can see better. Okay. And that's what I'm doing right now. Oops, go back. You don't want to take this out of place. I'm going to close this for now because I don't need it right now. Anything that you think that it might interrupt the overlapping of the S in this letter S when you're going to be pressing, you can either choose to move this higher if you want a little bit, you know, whatever make you feel more comfortable. To me, this is a little bit close for comfort right here, right? I might choose just to eliminate it, or I might just to leave it here, okay? If I choose to leave it here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this to the left a little bit to make more room for it. That's all I had to do. All right? And then this one the same way. Click this to the right a little bit. Click this to the right a little bit. That's it, okay? That way you can keep the hole, right? This looks good to me. Once I am done with this, I'm going to delete the whole thing because I don't need it, okay? You can either select just this, click right click delete, or you can delete it individually. Now, I'm gonna do the same thing with the lower part, right? I'm gonna eliminate this. This is too close. I'm gonna eliminate this. The select by color, what it allows you to do is allows you to release just the color on the design that you want to release, okay? Now that I see this is a little bit too close to the top, let me move this a little bit. Okay, that's what it does, allows you to do without disrupting any of the other part of the design. Otherwise, it would have made it very complicated to do this move with all the stones released because it's very messy, all right? So that's what I'm doing right now, okay? I'm gonna select this without selecting anything else, okay? Just the ones that you don't want. Okay, now we're gonna move around carefully. I don't wanna move anything out of place. And I'm gonna repeat the same thing in here, okay? And the reason why I selected the word spring is because I already have one that says blessings or blessed, and I don't want to have two of the same design. Now I have two different ones that I can use. This one right here, all I have to do is lower it the same as this. I'm just gonna lower it. You see, you play around, and again, it's your decision to do. It's design. You might decide I'm gonna eliminate it. I don't mind the way it looks without it, but it's up to you. Okay, it's all up to you. This is the good thing about rhinestones design, that each person do it the same their own way, and they all look unique and different, and I love it. That's what I love about it. Let me see if I can add one in here. Yeah, this is perfect in there. All right, let me see if I can move this to the left a little bit, and then move this a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. Delete. Then we're gonna go to the top part. I don't think the top part have nothing. I think that's all the overlapping we did, which is perfect for me. Let me make this a little bit higher. And I think this is pretty good. I'm gonna make it smaller, okay? And look at how pretty. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make this array compound path. So I'm gonna go ahead again. I'm gonna select the whole thing, okay? Oops, did not select the whole thing. I'm gonna select the whole thing. And I'm gonna go to again, edit, select by color. It's still in by fill. I'm gonna still selected the yellow, it's selected. And I'm gonna go back to object, I'm going to group. So it's grouping, waiting for it to change. Okay, I'm going to go back to object and I'm going to make compound path. And it switch. Every time that it goes back to compound path, it takes the color away. So I'm going to go back to the panel, choose the yellow. I'm going to go to the fourth icon right here, select the second icon over here, click the white box, and it's yellow. And this baby is done, all right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm going to write down the sizing or the dimensions or the size of the design, which in this case, it has a width of 10.633 and a height of 9.917. And like I explained on my other videos, this is very important because that is the size you're going to be using when you go to Cricut Design Space. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click File on the top left. I'm going to choose Save As, and I'm going to save it as to hard drive. I'm going to go ahead, I download mine on download. So I'm going to click the download here, and I'm going to go ahead and write whatever I want to write here. I'm going to write here SVG Daisy because I already had this as SVG Daisy for the regular SVG file. I don't want to get confused, and I'm going to add rhinestones to it, okay? All right, and then I'm going to write the width, which is 10.633. All right, and then I have a height of 9.917. All right, and then after I do that, I'm going to go back to what it says Save As Type. I'm going to open this Dropbox, and I'm going to choose SVG, and I'm going to say okay. That was already saved on my SVG. And what I do also for this, I save it here on Sigil Studio on my library. Just in case I want to come to the future, I make some changes, I am able to do it because I have it saved in here. So I'm going to go again to File, Save As, and this time I'm going to pick Save to Library. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. All right? And it's already saved. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate this. I'm going to take you now to Cricut Design Space, okay? So I am here in Cricut Design Space. I'm going to go ahead and click Canvas. Now that I'm here in Canvas, I'm going to click Upload on the bottom. I'm going to go to my Upload Images or Upload Image. I'm going to click Browse. I'm going to go to my Downloads. And I'm going to go to the top. And it's right here, SVG Daisy Rhinestones. I'm going to click that. I'm going to open. And it's right here. I'm going to go to the lower right, click Upload. And then you see it here. I'm going to add to Canvas on the bottom right. And it's right here. Let me make it smaller. Okay. So right here, let me make it smaller, so 50%, that's even better. So you also gonna check the size that it came in. Make sure that it came in the size that you plotted in. And right now, I can tell it kept the right size, 10.63 by 9.92. The smaller numbers don't matter because you can see them up here, 10.633, 9.917, and I don't have to do any changes on the size. Now, like I always said on my other videos, if you notice that your design came either bigger or smaller, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep it locked in here and you're gonna put here, you're gonna place here the width, all right? Once you do that, you just push enter and it should give you the right dimension or dimensions. It doesn't matter if you don't put the number here, it should give it to you. Now, if you do that and it doesn't give it to you, then unlock it and put each number individually. First the width and then the height with this unlocked, and then you resize it that way. Now, the next step that I'm going to do right now is just make it because I don't have to do any changes to this, right? I'm not connected to my Maker or my Explorer 2. cutter. So I'm just gonna take you to the next step, and that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go make it. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to save it because I always save all my designs, of course. I'm gonna go ahead, plot save, and I'm gonna put here Daisy Rhinestones. And I'm gonna put 2 because I had 2 different designs, just so it doesn't get confused. I'm gonna save it. I always save it first, just in case. Okay, so it's saved on Cricut. And now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do make it. And it should be coming in 3 different cutting mats. The first one will be this one, the second one will be this one, and the third one is this one. It is up to you the way you want to do it. Usually what I do, I try to place it on all in one mat if it fits, or if not in 2, and that way I save having to do a third mat because the colors don't matter. They're all gonna cut the same color of the flock, so it doesn't really matter. So if you're interested in doing this, I'm gonna show you how to do it. You're gonna click, I'm gonna click the bigger one to see if I can fit this little one in it. I'm gonna click this one, and if you notice it's in here, I'm gonna go ahead and click, let me see how much space I have here. In actuality, I don't have enough space, so this is not gonna be it. Okay, let me click the spring. Okay, this one is better. So I'm gonna click the spring. I always try to center it, so when I cut the flock, I have space on both sides the same. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna click this one, and I'm gonna go ahead and click these little 3 dots in here and give me the option to move object. So I'm gonna choose move object, and I'm gonna choose this color, the one that is spring. Okay, and I'm gonna say confirm. Okay, so now I have both in the same mat. I'm gonna put in the middle. Okay, and then I'm gonna do continue. Okay, and like I explained before, it's gonna ask you for the material, and in this case, you will choose your flock, your rhinestone flock. I do have a couple of videos to show you all the step-by-step on how to cut your flock. And that video I also include on how to select your material and add it into your materials in your system. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take you to the table. The template is gonna be already ready to be brushed. Okay, guys, we are here. We're gonna be brushing this design. I'm gonna be using 3 different color stones. I'm gonna be using, for the petals, I'm gonna be using Crystal AB. And for the words, I'm gonna be using Emerald AB. It's gonna be the first time that I'm gonna be using this. And of course, like always, I have been using the Baby's Booty Rhinestones, Hotfix Rhinestones. And these are, like I mentioned before, SS10 Rhinestones. For the other part that is left, I'm going to be using the coffee. I need to look for it. I'm going to fast forward this part because I just realized that this video is running long, okay? And I don't want to make it too long of a video. So I'm going to be running this fast forward because we're also going to press this shirt, okay? So I'm looking for the coffee right now. It's right here, the coffee, okay? All right, people. We're gonna start this process, okay? The first thing that I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be brushing the petals, okay? So I have some left crystals ABs in here. So this is empty. I have already ordered more crystal AB that it comes with 250 grams of stones. So I'm gonna be putting more stones because these are too small of an amount of stones to start with. All right. This should be enough. All right, so let's go, people. Like I've explained before, you have to do circular motion so that the stones will fall where you want them, okay? You're going to start pressing this shirt. I have already marked the center. Press the, press it so that I can have an idea what the center is, more or less. Okay. So it's gonna go for 12 seconds and at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm gonna place this part first, okay? And then this is the spring. And I need to match these to the spaces that we left. Remember the spaces we left in between? I have to match this with it, okay? Make sure that it falls into place. So in this part here, you're gonna have a lot of patience and just make sure that everything squares down. Okay. Really good. Look how pretty. I love it. Isn't that pretty? I love it. Let me take you back. Look at how pretty. Look at all that bling. It's beautiful. I'm gonna take you to the table so that we can see it with more detail. Okay, see you in a little bit. So this is the result. I just love it. I love the bling and I love the colors. I am very happy, and I show you how easy it is to design your own rhinestone template. When I was starting the video, one that I did that was similar, the first one that I did that have the word blessed, I'm gonna show it to you so that we can do a comparison, okay? I'll be right back. So this is the comparison of the two shirts. This is the one that I showed in the beginning, the first one that I did, and this is the purple color one. And I just want to make sure that you see the comparison, because it's a bit different depending on what color shirt you use. The flower petals are the same, Crystal AB. The center of the flower, they are the same, they are coffee. You see how brighter it looks in here? I'm assuming it's because the background of the shirt is a lighter color. This one is a different color. This is Capri. I love this Capri color. I'm telling you, I am falling in love. This is added to my favorite list of Hotfix Rhinestones because this color is amazing. What else? Oh, I want to show you another design that I did of my own design. Also, I pressed that one before I pressed this one. I love it. It came out real nice. This is created with a purpose. And this stone is the same color as the one that I showed you before, Capri. This one is rose. This one is coffee. It's look darker here again, I guess because it just depending on the color of the shirt. And this one is a new one, Citrine AB. And I am loving this one also. This one also made it to my favorite list of color stones. All of them I like, but this one also is a good one. I love it, especially now for the summer, because it gives you like a yellow color that changes back and forth to different color because it's an AB stone. I don't know if you can appreciate the bling right here when I move it. So yeah. So guys, I think this is all for now. I hope you learned a lot. I really had a lot of fun making this tutorial for you. If you have any questions, don't forget to ask those questions down on the description box. And if you're new to this channel and you have not subscribed yet, you know what I'm gonna say. Go ahead, subscribe to my channel, The Crafty Puerto Rican, and don't forget to click the notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future videos. Also, guys, I want to thank you for all the support you have given my channel. I really appreciate you. You have no idea of how happy you have made me with the support that you're giving me. And I will see you pretty soon with some new content. Guys, I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Hasta luego.